Yeah. Hi everyone, and welcome to this session today. So we are going to discuss about the season that happened till now, or that has happened till now, and then we'll try to figure out कि और आगे चीजें क्या कर सकते हैं, right? So I'm sure some of you have called, some of you are looking at CET, CMAT as options that are there, and some of you are just frustrated about how the season went. So we will discuss all those things that are there, and उसके बाद we will of course think about the repercussions and all the things are there that you can do to maybe do a better thing, right? In your upcoming months. And cat 26 देना चाहिए कि नहीं देना चाहिए, कोई CET meant for, how do you prepare for it, GDPI के लिए क्या करना चाहिए, all those things we will talk about. There are a couple of things you will be able to see it in the ticker at the bottom, which is basically the GDPI online course and the CET course that are both live. So do have a look at those particular things. And one more thing for all of you who are part of the 0.99 setup. There is a series of workshops that are going to happen on the 16th, 17th, 18th of this month. There are 4 workshops that are there. The attendance is through registration only. So make sure that you're registering for the workshops by using the link in the chat, and that way you will be able to look at it. Yeah, sorry. Cool. So we will start with the session. एक बार start कर लेते हैं, and then we will see what can be done. Now, in terms of see what the season has been like and what exactly had happened. Of course, I generally call this season one of the most unfair seasons ever in the history of MBA test taking. जब से मतलब mainstream हुआ है, which was the early 2000s. So तब से मतलब MBA entrances have been slightly mainstream. And if you look at the tests, maybe from 2007, 2006, 2007 onwards, they have been like properly competitive. A lot of people appear for it, appear for the tests, and they basically also prepare really well, and ये सारी चीजें होती है, right? So that is what we are looking at in this particular context. So just give me a second. I will just see if the audio can be a bit better, but I think we are mostly fine. Yeah. Okay. So I think it should be slightly better now. But that is basically what we're looking at, right? In terms of the season. Now, chart test जिनको benchmark लेके I am basically saying that it is not very fair, and I'll tell you why this has happened, and आगे जाके CET में what all things can you expect. Now, in terms of CAT, everybody knows that because the level of difficulty changed dramatically, I would say, across the 3 slots, although the normalization वाला bit did not really consider it, and बहुत कम variance देखने मिला, especially at higher percentiles and so on. Okay, it was better before. Okay, I'll just change it back then. Uh, yeah. So maybe this will be slightly better than what it was like. So वो करेंगे, right? So the idea is that of course CAT के अंदर जो variance दिखाई दिया, या फिर if you make the test like so difficult that मतलब nobody knows, right? Theta questions generally effectively decide how good or bad your attempt has been. It might be an issue. So that was one of my gripes against CAT that happened. You can't make it so difficult, especially with the presence of theta questions. उसके बाद if you look at SNAP, SNAP का भी issue was very similar because the level of difficulty is unpredictable. There is no normalization. So SNAP 1, SNAP 2, SNAP 3, if you are taking only one SNAP, because there is no normalization, the expectation is that all the tests will be of the same level of difficulty, more or less. But ऐसा कुछ दिखाई नहीं दिया. Um, Snap 1 के अंदर if you had scored something, I think almost everyone that I have spoken to who have done well at the Snap have done well at Snap 3, and not Snap 1 or 2, right? Better at Snap 3, I would say. तो मतलब individual test में भी इतना variance नहीं हो सकता ना. I took only Snap 1, and my score was some 52.5, but my percentile is 99.75. मैंने Snap 2, Snap 3 नहीं दिया था. Now, if I were a serious aspirant, I might have lost out on some brownie points. I was penalized purely because I took Snap once. So you can't reward people for taking a test multiple times. तो मतलब एक ही बार ठीक से कंडक्ट कर लो. अब इतना तो नहीं है ना, ऐसा तो नहीं है कि मतलब स्नैप इज टेकन बाय 5 लाख पीपल जिनको एक साथ अकोमोडेट नहीं कर सकते हो. इट्स अ 1 hour टेस्ट, यू कैन कंडक्ट इट थ्राइस ऑन वन डे एज वेल अगर लोग अकोमोडेट नहीं हो रहे तो. बट ठीक है, मतलब इट लुक्स लाइक people are just out there to make a quick buck, right? By having a test be conducted thrice. NMAT के अंदर scaling went up and down this year. NMAT के takers भी are very low from what I have understood. From what trends suggest, official numbers I think should be out in a few days. But from what the trends have suggested, NMAT ke numbers have fallen, is what my understanding has been, and the scaling has become slightly smoother this year. I think slightly more rewarding is what I would say. So 300 cross karna would have been very difficult maybe last year. This year people have really scored about 300. That is essentially the idea. I scored 318 this year. तो वो भी एक चीज है. NMAT again, NMIMS again is a different entity in itself. You might again see the comeback of all the competency tests and whatnot, and 20% weight to NMAT. तो वो एक issue है. ZAT की बात अगर करेंगे तो ZAT was I think more or less a fairer test in general. बट देन जैट के अंदर जितनी अनसर्टेनिटी होती है, nobody knows what exactly might happen at the ZAT. Quant became pretty difficult this year. BI also became slightly difficult. DM is DM, and I'm saying it as someone who has scored 20 correct, one wrong in the DM section according to the official key. So I'm expecting 19.75 in DM. But in spite of that, DM verbal थोड़े unforgiving sections हो जाते हैं ZAT के अंदर. Again, that uncertainty that exists, you never know how to tackle that, right? And honestly speaking, my score has been very good at that this year. I think it is one of my best performances at that. But then again, you never know, right? What to expect from a test like that. So, having said everything, up next, RI, the next biggie of the season is of course CET and the GDPI process that you guys might be eligible for. CET is another can of worms. इस बार 2 बार conduct होने वाला है. As I speak, the registrations are open. So people who are targeting the CET, you can check out the registration thing. You will have to create some APAR ID को again you will have to sync with DigiLocker. I think that is a mandatory step this year for CET. तो वो एक चीज है that even I have to explore कि APAR ID होता है क्या और कैसे उसको करना है. But then again, if you look at CET, लास्ट ईयर भी अगर देखोगे लास्ट 4 or 5 years से it has not been conducted flawlessly, I would say. Every slot has had incorrect questions that were there. You will see the level of difficulty change dramatically. The construct of the tests change dramatically. कोई slots के अंदर you will have 70 questions from quant. 2 साल पहले हुआ था, not last year or the year before that, but उसके पहले हुआ था. That one slot had 70 questions from quant, one slot had 30 questions from quant, एक slot के अंदर DI sets थे, एक में नहीं थे, एक में sequential output type में नहीं था. तो उतना वेरिएंस होता है across slots, and normalization करते हैं, but I don't really know if the process is foolproof. Because I remember very vividly what happened in my slot last year. It was kind of the most difficult slot जहाँ पे मैंने CET दिया था, and मतलब according to every calculator, according to every this thing that was shared, I was clearly ahead of the other candidates, but then suddenly I realized that there are some, I don't know, some 20, 30 people who are ahead of me in the pecking order. I don't know where these people came from, but it is what it is, right? So वो एक चीज है. In terms of GDPI अगर देखते हो, GDPI के अंदर if they take a proper GDPI round अगर ठीक से लेते हैं, if they kind of look at your candidature holistically, if your past records are not great, but then again you have it in you to become a good manager, a good administrator, a good leader, a good in-depth interview is generally going to be beneficial for you. तो जितना इंटरव्यू का लेंथ बढ़ता जाता है, उतना योर अकेट्स को कंपेंसेट करने का chances increase. But you will see in a lot of situations that these interviews will be 10-minute shootouts tops. 7 8 10 मिनट में they decide whether you are good enough or not. And then again you will see that people with good accounts end up getting more brownie points. तो एक चीज काफी जगह पे होता है. I'm not saying that हर कॉलेज में होगा. Some colleges will have holistically proper interviews which will give you a chance to showcase your candidature. But बहुत सारे interviews ऐसे होंगे जहाँ पे it will be a 10-minute shootout. You will not even know what hit you till the time you try to recover. Your interview will be done. तो ये सब चीजें होती हैं. So brace yourselves for these kind of things that are going to happen आगे जाके भी. And the idea is for you to prepare very well for the interviews. Try to figure out what makes your candidature different. वो बहुत important होगा. If you end up giving generic answers, you are going to end up in some amount of trouble. So make sure that your answers are different, and only then I think you will be able to stand out among the candidates that are there. Especially so if you have had bad acats, or if your written score is or if your test score is on the lower side, अगर cutoff के आसपास तुम्हारा test score आ रहा है, make sure that you are kind of expecting or you are expected to have an above average, a good interview in fact, right? So वो बहुत important हो जाता है. That is important. People are wondering about CAT 26. अगर कुछ भी call है, even if you have one call from some random institute, I will suggest that you go for the interview, appear for the interview, and then decide whether you want to take CAT 26 or not. Because if you already have a call, it means that you are at least at an 80-85 percentile level, which means that you will not require 10-11 months of preparation. उतना time तो नहीं लगने वाला prepare करने के लिए, 4-5 hours every day, उतना time तो नहीं लगने वाला. So you can also start your preparation maybe in the month of March once your interviews are done, and उसके बाद you can still prepare for the CAT in the remaining 7 or 8 months. बहुत easily preparation हो जाएगा. So don't be in a hurry to start CAT 26 preparation. Try to get your interview skills sorted this year itself, so that next year you don't have to worry about interview preparation, just in case you get better calls, right? So वो एक चीज बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट हो गया. I will recommend you to do that. बट अगर कॉल ही नहीं है, कोई स्कोप ही नहीं लग रहा कॉल्स आने का, एंड इफ यू आर वेरी श्योर ऑफ टेकिंग कैट 26, आई विल सजेस्ट दैट यू डू दैट. If you have not had a job, make sure that you are looking at a job or something that will fill that gap on your CV. Don't take a proper gap and prepare for the CAT. That is not recommended. कुछ तो कर लो, मतलब एटलीस्ट एन इंटर्नशिप विच यू कैन शो ऑन योर सीवी. भले ही फॉर्म में नहीं भर सकते हो, बट एटलीस्ट सीवी पे दिख जाएगा. दैट इज बेसिकली द आइडिया. दैट इज व्हाट आई वुड सजेस्ट you do. And don't take a blind gap and go for the CAT entirely, because by now you would have realized that it is not exactly a game that you can practice and hope to win, right? So वो थोड़ा सा difficult हो सकता है. So make sure that you are prepared for all eventualities. बहुत important हो जाएगा. ठीक है. In terms of what to prepare, how to prepare, I'm sure you will have last day का कुछ material होगा. You start from there. Make sure that you are organized. Our batch is going to start from the 1st of Feb. Uh, Sorry about that. But उस टाइम पे बैच स्टार्ट होने वाला है. सो मेक श्योर दैट यू आर ऑल्सो रेगुलर. तो विच एवर इंस्टीट्यूट यू ज्वाइन, .99 और एनी इंस्टीट्यूट दैट यू ज्वाइन, मेक श्योर दैट यू आर रेगुलर. यू आर नॉट टेकिंग ब्रेक्स इन अ प्रिपरेशन. अगर पूरा का पूरा कैट 26 पे फोकस है, कोई कॉल नहीं है, तो ट्राई टू एंश्योर दैट यू आर डन विथ मेजोरिटी ऑफ द कंटेंट बाय मे एंड और जून, बिकॉज तब मॉक्स का फ्रीक्वेंसी बढ़ना शुरू हो जाएगा, एंड यू हैव टू बी एटलीस्ट एट दी 50, 55, 60 मार्क्स के रेंज में once the mock start, because you have to kind of achieve a 90 to 95 percentile regularly at the mocks. अगर first 4-5 mock के अंदर 2-3 95 percentile आ जाते हैं, I think you are sorted. You will gain a lot of confidence from this, and then you will enter the main season with a lot more confidence, as I say, right? तो बहुत important चीज होती है. तो make sure that you are working towards that goal. You are being regular with your preparation. वो बहुत ज्यादा important हो जाता है. ठीक है. If you are someone who has work ex, let's say, or you are working and preparing for CAT, great. If you have more than 2 years of work ex, also keep an eye for executive programs. मतलब I will strongly say that an MBA from a tier 2 B school, a 90 percentile equivalent B school, चलो let's say for example एक IMT या IMI में इस बार admission मिल जाता है, let's say, and you already have 2 years of work ex. With 5 years of work ex, if you end up getting into a GMP, let's say an XLRI का GMP or an SPJMR का GMP or an executive MBA from the IIMs, I can almost see a 32, 33, 35 lakhs का average happening after 5 years of experience. जबकि यहाँ पे 2 साल के एक्सपीरियंस के बाद you are going to get maybe 15, 17 lakhs per annum का average. The probability or the kind of expected value that you're getting doubles with an upgrade after 3 years. So make sure that you're also keeping an eye on executive MBAs, because a lot of people think that executive MBA बहुत ही pedestrian program होता है, वो 2 year MBA जितना उसका impact नहीं होता, ऐसा लगता है, but ऐसा नहीं है. I know people who have skipped the 2 year MBA, worked for 5 years, got into these GMP kind of programs and have done better than what they would have done in a B school. So make sure कि वहां पे भी एक नजर है. I'm not saying that give up on CAT preparation. Take CAT every year, but keep an eye on these programs as well. These might actually be really good for your profile. ठीक है. So that is basically the idea. And बाकी तो मतलब questions में we will cover what exactly to expect. Score percentile का prediction मैं यहाँ पे नहीं करूंगा. XAT का I think my predictions will not change by much. The score versus percentile will mostly be similar. I think slightly better होगा. Slightly higher, maybe 1.5 marks higher than whatever estimates I had predicted, because I think a lot of people have done better than the calculators. So जो भी calculators आए थे, a lot of people have done or would be getting a better score than what they were getting at the calculators. So in my case, most calculators were showing me a 44ish, 45ish ka score, but the actual key is showing me 51.5. So I'm assuming that it would have increased for a lot of people, especially in DM. I think you will see some wild swings, and in VA as well. But DM के अंदर I think you will see some good swings that are there. ठीक है, लेट्स सी। सीईटी के लिए आईएमएस टाइम टेस्ट फंडा विच इज बेटर फॉर सीईटी मॉक्स, अरमान, ऑल ऑफ देम आई थिंक आर प्रेटी गुड. In fact, you have to go for the one that gives you the best deal. That is the idea. All the mocks are updated according to the latest CET का level of difficulty, question types. तो सारे ही मतलब हो जाते हैं. तो whichever is giving you the best deal, you can go for those. मतलब more mocks for lesser price. I will also suggest that you look at the Atal mocks that are there. I think they are giving away 3 mocks this year for free. आई डोंट नो अबाउट दी पेड ऑफरिंग, वो भी मेरे को देखना पड़ेगा एक बार. बट अटल मॉक्स भी एक बार देख सकते हो, बिकॉज दैट विल टेल यू व्हाट एग्जैक्टली हैपेंस एट द सीईटी, इंक्लूडिंग इनकरेक्ट क्वेश्चंस. सो दैट इज व्हाई आई विल सजेस्ट कि अटल मॉक्स भी देख लो इफ दे आर अवेलेबल फॉर. And if whatever 1,000 rupees doesn't mean a lot to you, I think you can go ahead and go for the Atal mocks as well. They will give you a very good idea of where you stand and what happens. Last year कुछ 6 mocks का pack था for 1,000 rupees. That was what it was like. This year also I will solve one or many of the mocks on the official mocks that are there. So maybe you can have a look at it. In terms of the program that we have tied up with Test Funda. So Test Funda ke mocks are genuinely like pretty decent in terms of CET ka level of difficulty. In fact, for a long time, Test Funda used to be known for CET mocks and NMAT mocks specifically. So CET mocks are of a good standard when it comes to test funda. In fact, what you can do is you can have a look at my live solving attempts. Last year, I think I had done a test funda mock. IMS की भी CET का live solving will be there on their channel. पुराने mocks होंगे मेरे for sure. So you can check out those mocks. Time का I don't think I've done any CET mock as such. But maybe if they agree to the collaboration, I might do a CET mock with time this year. But IMS and test funda के mocks, you can check it out on your own. Atal mocks भी last year के देख लो. I have done all three of them. I think all three are very similar. I ended up getting 150 ka round ka score in all three mocks at different points in time. So I think very similar in terms of content and in terms of the level of difficulty. ठीक है. Yeah, workshop weekend ka link is there, so do have a look at it. There are 4 workshops that are there: Power BI, Excel, Tableau, data visualization, AI, how to grow in today's age in terms of AI and in terms of the digital era, AI first era mein kaise grow kare. That is basically the theme. So four workshops are going to be conducted by people who are PhDs and have masters from reputed universities, including IIM Ahmedabad, University of Texas, Northeastern University of Texas, and a lot more, right? So you can check out the workshops का flow using the registration box. में जो link दिया है वो register कर लो, you will be able to. There will be certificates that will be available, so you can use this to put it on your CV, saying that you successfully completed a workshop conducted by XYZ on this topic. वो CV points, 4 CV points you will be able to get. So that is basically the idea. Attend करने पे CV points मिल जाए. So do check that out. Abhay asking MIT WPU कैसा है? Abhay, I don't think it's an aspirational college. I would say it's a decent college. If you are desperate to go for an MBA this year, so MIT WPU will have a lot of marketing might. मतलब I will not say it's the most aspirational brand. I would say. But if you are not scoring very well at the tests, you are looking for an option right away. Current job prospects almost nil है, कहीं पे job नहीं मिल रहा, then I might suggest you to go for it. But otherwise, मतलब if you have a decent profile, मतलब 8, 8, 7 या उससे better profile अगर है, I will suggest that you kind of look at a retake अगर बहुत ही desperate situation है तो भी, is what I would suggest. College है या भाई, I know about the college, but वैसे. Okay. Manthan is asking, what is the best answer for why an MBA for a fresher? You are a BMS graduate, and for you, it's the most easy thing because BMS mein already you have done bachelor's in management studies. It's a logical continuation of whatever you are doing. So you can say that I loved my graduation so much that I want to pursue a career in management, because of which I decided that I wanted to pursue an MBA. I appeared for the CAT, and of course, matlab, because B schools allow you to appear as a fresher as well. That's why you are in the interview room. Of course, you are not going to give a blunt answer like that, but you can say that it aligns well with my future goals. You can talk about your specialization and say that okay, ये मेरा specialization है, इसके अंदर I want to do 5 more things that would be in continuation to my graduation, and I think that an MBA will add these attributes to me. Typically, you are playing with knowledge and skills. मेरे को कुछ knowledge चाहिए that will help me do well at the corporate or as an entrepreneur. I need to have some skills which will help me do better as an individual in the corporate or as an entrepreneur. And an MBA is basically the stepping stone to those things, right? Don't use these words because ये काफी jargon हो गया. But if you are clear in terms of what roles do you want, if you are clear in terms of what specialization you intend to pursue, I think you should be fine. कुछ इतना issue नहीं होना चाहिए. Just make it a continuation of what happened in your BMS. Maybe 2 or 3 instances that convinced you कि यार BMS was a very good course and मेरे को और थोड़ा management में pursue करना चाहिए professional context में. And practically it makes a lot of sense because as a BMS, if you are joining an organization, and as an MBA, if you are joining an organization, it makes a lot of sense for you to have more post MBA workers than pre MBA workers. Because every year of pre MBA workers that you replace with post MBA workers will make sure that you are retiring at a slightly higher level than you would have otherwise. So, मतलब that is practically if you look at it, MBA के पहले 2 साल काम करो और या वही 2 साल MBA के बाद काम करो. Of course, your post MBA work ex is going to be more rewarding. So, why not get work ex? So that is the answer to that. Otherwise, तो मतलब it's a logical continuation of uh, the game that you already played and you enjoy playing. ठीक है. 44 in Zone 26, all sections clear. Fantastic, Abhijit. Congratulations on the calls. 997 and sports management fresher. How should I approach my interviews for FMS and IM? Abhijit, यार मतलब really good profile. कुछ नहीं करना, you just have to look at your entire thing. So आज ही मैंने एक वीडियो पब्लिश किया है in terms of what to expect in terms of the various processes that are there. इस पे एक और वीडियो आएगा in terms of how to start with the preparation. तो उसमें I have mentioned the entire CV that you would need to do, a master CV that needs to happen. In fact, I had my first session yesterday. Sorry, not yesterday, before yesterday, for the people who have signed up for the GDPI program, Saturday rather. And usme I discussed about your master CV and what all things do you need to have on that CV. कि बचपन से शुरू करो, अपने नाम से स्टार्ट करो, and then you keep on digging deeper and deeper and deeper. 5 Ws, 1H framework लगा लो, and try to dig deeper into each and every aspect of the sentence that you have written, right? So agar let's say for example, I was born in Dombivli. So what does Dombivli mean? Uska hierarchy kya hai? So of course I'm assuming that you're not from Mumbai, but Maharashtra में there are these elections that are going on. So they might ask you, भाई what is the difference between a commissioner, a mayor, a corporator? ये क्या अलग अलग चीजें हैं या it's basically the same person? तो क्या powers होते हैं? ऐसे कुछ पूछ सकते हैं. Water supply कहाँ से आता है? Electricity कहाँ से? तो यहाँ से basically you start and then you dig deeper and deeper, and every line that you have written, be it in terms of your academic performance, of course your family upbringing and all those things, who all constitute your family, where were you born, your name, all those things. से लेके योर academics, से लेके योर co-curriculars, से लेके योर internships and projects that you would have done, work ex अगर है तो वो, extra curricular activities, hobbies and interests, ये पूरा का पूरा should be covered in terms of your raw CV that you are going to have. इसके साथ में the other thing is of course you are preparing for your personal questions. उसके लिए you will need a story bank. So you should have ideally 10 to 15 stories, at least 5, but 10 to 15 stories that have created an impact on you. कुछ भी हो सकता है. It could be the result of a test. It could be an interaction with someone. It could be a project that you handled. It could be a committee that you were a part of. कुछ भी हो सकता है. तो 15 stories is what 10 to 15 stories is what I would want as a story bank. उसमें से फिर I can use things to create my answers. And then finally, of course, current affairs and opinions on those current affairs. तो वहां पे भी 3 लेवल का प्रिपरेशन होता है. The first level is knowing what is happening. So हाँ, इंडिगो का क्राइसिस हुआ था, ठीक है. क्या हुआ था उसके अंदर? A lot of flights were cancelled and जो उनका नॉर्मल whatever 97% का उनका ऑन टाइम वाला ये होता है, वो मतलब काफी नीचे गिर गया था. 70% ऑफ द फ्लाइट्स वेर इम्पैक्टेड बिकॉज ऑफ दिस एंड सो ऑन एंड सो फोर्थ. ये फर्स्ट लेवल का इंफॉर्मेशन है. क्या ठीक है, मेरे को इन्फॉर्मेशन है मेरे पास. सेकेंड लेवल ऑफ इंफॉर्मेशन इज व्हाई डिड दिस हैपन. सो मतलब लेट्स से फॉर एग्जांपल कुछ फ्लाइट्स के लिए देयर वेर सर्टन गाइडलाइंस दैट वर सेट अप सेइंग दैट ओके इतने आवर्स फ्लाई करना चाहिए, इतने कंसेक्यूटिव आवर्स का रेस्ट होना चाहिए, हफ्ते में 2 दिन का रेस्ट होना चाहिए, एंड ऑल दोस काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स दैट वर देयर. रेड आई फ्लाइट्स कितने यू कैन गो फॉर. तो दोस काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स वेयर अपार्ट. तो ये मेरे को पता होना चाहिए कि भाई क्या क्या चीजें थी रेगुलेशंस के अंदर, क्या क्या पॉइंटर्स थे. The third level is essentially when your opinion comes. Do you think that it was malpractice from Indigo's end? Do you think that monopolies should be restricted? What do you think about the MRTP Act, monopolistic restrict or restrictive monopolistic trade practices वाला Act, RMTP Act, sorry, जो मतलब बहुत ये था, तो मतलब क्या चीजें है that you think about it. So वो एक थर्ड लेयर आता है. इतना अगर कर लोगे, your GDPI should be sorted, and of course mock interviews. So all these things should be good enough for anyone of you to convert your interviews, even if it means that you are going for an IIM Ahmedabad interview, right? So बहुत important है, बहुत चीजें cover हो जाएंगी once you do all these things. And of course, on that note, you can check out the GDPI program as well. I'm taking care of most of these aspects in that program. So we will have some 5 live sessions that are there, plus one session on the statistics, and all those things are basically going to be covered. Budget पे एक session होगा, that is going to there. Jargon का एक session होने वाला है in the coming couple of days. Is when the next session on jargons is going to happen. So make sure that if you are looking for a program, then you can look at the GDPI program. Okay, let's see. Okay, let me see. What do I think about taking CAT again while doing an MBA as a first year? So I am talking as someone who had taken the CAT when I was at my first year at FMS, and I ended up getting my CAT 100 percentile when I took it that way. I did not have any intent of shifting out of FMS because I was aspiring to be a marketing जो भी मतलब you are talking about specialization, तो मेरे को specialization marketing में करना था. तो फिर I did not really see big opportunities or some different opportunities that I would have got had I been a part of any of the IIMs. तो मैंने सोचा कि यार ठीक है, doesn't make any sense. I was doing very well at FMS. I was a part of the placement committee and all those things happened. So मेरा काफी goodwill था, semester pattern होता है, तो बहुत सारे reasons थे because of which I did not switch from FMS. But yes, I had taken it. I've seen people do this. I've seen people do 2 years at a B school and second year के time पे वो लोग और एक कॉलेज में शिफ्ट करते. ये भी मैंने केस देखे हुए हैं, बहुत कम देखे हैं बट देखे हुए. People do it if it is a significant upgrade. If you are looking at say finance slash consulting kind of roles, I think it makes sense for you to make that switch. But if you're looking at marketing roles, I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal, honestly, unless the brand means a lot to you. You are like very bullish on having that I am ABC like wala brand on your CV, then it might make sense for you. Otherwise, also people do that. A lot of people from Sydney appear for CET every year and then they aspire to get into JBMS. So ये switches मैंने देखे हुए हैं. I am generally not a big fan of it because then it will mean that you are doing a 3-year MBA instead of a 2-year MBA technically. The other thing is, yeah, you would rather work and build your CV instead of spending time at an institute. Because अगर interview में जाओगे and if they ask you कि भाई बताओ क्या कर रहे हो, you can't just say that I am doing an MBA from college XYZ. So let's say for example you are doing your MBA from MDI, let's say, and you are sitting in an IIM Ahmedabad interview. फिर वो क्वेश्चन आना शुरू होता है कि यार ये एमडीआई के अंदर व्हाई इज एमडीआई वर्स देन आईएम अहमदाबाद. कल को तुमको अगर हार्वर्ड मिल जाएगा तो क्या तुम आईएम अहमदाबाद छोड़ के हार्वर्ड चले जाओगे? सो दीस काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चंस आर वेरी अनकंफर्टेबल टू आंसर. सो व्हाई क्रिएट दैट सिचुएशन इन द फर्स्ट प्लेस? दैट इज माय सजेशन. बट अगर हाँ मतलब इफ यू आर let's say in FMS and तुमको अगर IIM Calcutta, IIM Bangalore मिल रहा है, some people decide to switch. So I had someone in my batch who made that switch. She got a 99.97 percentile and she made that switch. One more person was ready to make the switch, but nahi, I think interviews nahi दिया, नहीं, I don't remember. I did not appear for the interviews at all. तो करते हैं लोग switch करने वाले, people generally switch as well, but बहुत कम लोग होते हैं जो switch करते हैं. So if you are getting into a good college, you might as well make the most of it, unless finance, yeah, consulting. So the lady who shifted from FMS, I think she was interested in finance. So I think she got better opportunities because of this switch. So I am not in favor of it nor against it. It completely depends on the individual choices and the situation that you are in. तो हाँ मतलब once you do it, maybe we can discuss it. वैसे ठीक है. मैं 3 लोगों को फ्री पीआई करवाने वाला था. Okay, Karthik, I'm not sure of which one you are referring to, but yeah, matlab write a mail to us and we will see what happened about that and what exactly was the situation that you are referring to. ठीक है. 26.3 marks in that expected percentile. Solify, I already made a video on that score versus percentile. So maybe you can check that out. मेरे को top of my mind I don't remember, but I'll just refer to that thing. I'm expecting 1 mark का growth over whatever I had written earlier. So according to my estimates, yeah, overall, if I'm looking at a score of 23ish, 24ish, I'm practically looking at I would say an 85ish percentage. I think 85 to 87 के बीच में कुछ आना चाहिए is my understanding, which should make you eligible for a lot of these institutes, including Altera 4, GIM, Great Lakes, IRMA, Somaya, LBSI, TAPMI. ये सारे institutes के लिए you should ideally be eligible. That is my understanding. ठीक है, NMAT 224 999 academics 26 months का work ex. What are the chances of NMIMS Mumbai call and conversion? अविरल यार अगर बैलेंस स्कोर है मेरे को लगता है कॉल आना चाहिए, बॉर्डर लाइन कॉल होगा बट आना चाहिए इज माई अंडरस्टैंडिंग. कन्वर्जन तो मतलब NMIMS knows and maybe God knows, right? So कुछ बोल नहीं सकते उसके बारे में, तो कुछ भी नहीं बोल सकते. Or if you don't believe in God, then whatever entity exists, whatever spiritual power that you believe in, that knows. Because यार पता नहीं, मतलब it's very difficult to predict. Because last year I've seen cases जहाँ पे people who had scored 270, 280 at the NMAT, उनके भी मतलब competency test के और interview के बाद their ranks were far behind, and people who were borderline candidates 210, 215, 220, 225 के आसपास, उनके काफी ज्यादा leapfrog हुए थे ranks. So anything can happen in terms of NMIMS. So considering that you are going to be at the lower end of the spectrum, I'm थोड़ा hopeful for you if last year का trend repeats. But then again, you will have to do very well at the competency test and the जैसे भी वो लोग कंडक्ट करते हैं इंटरव्यू एंड ऑल, उस पे यू विल हैव टू बी लाइक ऑन पॉइंट, मतलब वो थ्रू आउट दोस 10-15 मिनट्स का इंटरव्यू जो भी. ठीक है. स्नैप 44 मार्क्स 93.8 परसेंटाइल, एनमैट 227. कैन एक्सपेक्ट अ कॉल फ्रॉम एनएमआईएमएस एंड एसआईबीएम बैंगलोर. एनएमआईएमएस यस, एसआईबीएम बैंगलोर मेरे को थोड़ा बॉर्डर लाइन लग रहा है ऑनेस्टली. आई एम नॉट very supremely confident about SIBM Bangalore. That is what my understanding is. I would have been slightly more happier had I been at around 95ish percentile. But you never know. Might happen. But हाँ मतलब एकदम ऐसे supremely confident yes तो I will not say. 227 पे NMIMS का तो आ जाना चाहिए. ठीक है. SIBM B call at 88.9, again same answer for you as well. अगर मैं 93.8 पे थोड़ा not very sure हूँ तो 88 पे तो मेरे को थोड़ा difficult, मतलब I would not be very confident more or less. ठीक है. Yeah, so that's what it looks like. Generally यार मतलब it can lie anywhere between 90 to 95%. That is the idea. 95 ish पे I'll be more happy. 93 पे not so much. 88 पे mostly. ठीक है. Can I get IMT Hyderabad and Nirma call at 73 percentile? Manav, Nirma looks a bit tight to me. IMT Hyderabad I think can happen. 567 passed record, worked hard, got 45 raw score in XAT. Whoa, great. Do you think it will create a problem at the end of the admission? Also, with a decent GDPI, can I still make it? Godspeed. With a decent GDPI, theoretically you can make it. But then again, considering that, चलो just to put it numerically, 5 plus 6 plus 7, मैं 18 पे बैठा हूँ. ठीक है. People whom you are competing with will be at least at an 887, which is essentially going to be 23. So you are sitting at 18 and someone else is sitting at 23 or 24. They are already 33% ahead of you in a way, right? 30% वो तुमसे आगे, which basically means you have to give a 30% better interview than other people. तो अगर वो होता है then definitely there is a chance, but वो theoretical chance हो जाता है. Because if these people end up getting let's say 30 marks out of 50, just to give you an example, उनको अगर 30 out of 50 मिलता है, you will have to outscore them. You will have to get a 40 out of 50. उतना अच्छा इंटरव्यू होना चाहिए. So I am practically looking at a kick-ass interview जिसमें there is nothing left to chance. They should be surprised कि you are scoring a 567 instead of they are like यार 567 मिला करके नहीं. They should be surprised क्या तुमको 567 कैसे मिल सकता है. You are as good as a 777 or a 888 candidate at least, right? तो वो मेरे को एक feeling आना चाहिए when they look at your interview. वो feeling if you can invoke, I think you have a chance. But probability is not on your side is what I will say. But yeah, there are always outliers. So if you are an outlier, go and show it. You have already shown that you can do very well at this act. So that can be your stepping stone. एंड यू कैन टेल देम कि देखो यार जैट में भी मतलब उस टाइम पे भी तो मेरे अकेट्स खराब थे, तो भी मैंने जैट में इतना अच्छा स्कोर किया, एंड आई हैव इट इन मी टू डू वेल, यू हैव टू टेक मी, उस दैट काइंड ऑफ अ थिंग। मतलब आई एम नॉट सेइंग ये एग्जैक्ट वर्ड्स जाके बताओ, बट दैट कुड बी द सेंटिमेंट दैट यू आर कन्वेइंग इन इट, दैट इज द आइडिया। ठीक है, 35 marks in cat, was getting around 45 to 55 in simcat, and वहां से 70 प्लस इन कैट 26। Shivanshu, see, you will have to kind of understand what went wrong. So if you are already scoring a 45 to 55 in simcats, there is no reason why you should have fumbled at the cat. So एक temperament वाला part आता है। See, there is one thing that is skill. A lot of people, a lot of players have the skill, बट जब एक फाइनल चल रहा है, राइट, इट कुड बी एनीथिंग, इट कुड बी द फाइनल मैच ऑफ अ सीजन, इट कुड बी चैंपियंस लीग का फाइनल है, फीफा का फाइनल है, वर्ल्ड कप का फाइनल है, क्रिकेट वर्ल्ड कप का फाइनल है, कुछ भी हो सकता है, राइट। या फिर यू आर ऑन द 18th होल एंड यू वांट टू काइंड ऑफ यू आर पॉइज्ड टू गेट अ आई डोंट नो बर्डी और एन ईगल काइंड ऑफ थिंग, राइट, वो है। तो उस टाइम पे हाउ डू यू परफॉर्म इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। तो मेरे हिसाब से स्किल से भी ज्यादा, कंटेंट से भी ज्यादा टेम्परामेंट मैटर्स अ लॉट। सो इफ टेम्परामेंटली थोड़ा ऊपर नीचे था, तो वो यू विल हैव टू काइंड ऑफ वर्क ऑन योर टेम्परामेंट, एक्टिवली यू हैव टू वर्क ऑन इट। एवरी मॉक इज बेसिकली सिचुएशन जहां पे थिंग्स कैन गो रॉन्ग, यू हैव टू इंश्योर दैट यू आर मतलब यू आर लुकिंग फॉरवर्ड टू दैट काइंड ऑफ अ चैलेंज, वो होना चाहिए। द सेकंड थिंग इज प्योरली इन टर्म्स ऑफ द टॉपिक्स दैट यू वुड हैव मिस्ड लास्ट ईयर, उस पे अपने को काम करना है, एंड वंस यू वर्क ऑन दोस टॉपिक्स यू विल end up getting a score of 80-85 marks consistently, which in a difficult test might convert it, might uh, be a 70 kind of a thing, right? So मेरे हिसाब से you should aim for 75 to 80 marks in mocks, which will translate into a 75-80 kind of a score at the cat as well, and वो करने के लिए a couple of things, you need to make very good decisions. You can't get stuck on DI sets like you might have got stuck on at the cat. You can't get decision paralysis during the test, यार अभी पता नहीं क्या करना चाहिए, now I'm suddenly in a corner and now I don't know what needs to be done. So जैसे वो rat का होता है ना, वैसे है rat को corner क्या है ना, वो अपना नाक स्क्रैच करना शुरू कर देता है it seems. So you can't really panic, राइट। तो वो सिचुएशन एनालिसिस बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। इन टर्म्स ऑफ कंटेंट, इफ यू हैड नॉट डन से आरसी ठीक से नहीं किए थे, यू डिड नॉट रियली हैव अ रीडिंग हैबिट, आई विल सजेस्ट दैट यू डू दैट। इफ यू आर नॉट वेरी कंफर्टेबल विद द टेक्निकलिटीज अराउंड द वर्बल वाला पार्ट, बी इट जंबल पैराग्राफ समरी या फिर ऑड सेंटेंस आउट या फिर पैराग्राफ कंप्लीशन, मेक श्योर दैट यू हैव योर बेसिक्स फंडामेंटल्स इन प्लेस। क्वांट के अंदर अगर अरिथमेटिक, अलजेब्रा, इवन ज्योमेट्री फॉर दैट मैटर नहीं पूरी तरीके से किया था, आई वुड सजेस्ट दैट यू डू इट वेल दिस टाइम अराउंड। डीआईएलआर के अंदर डिसीजन मेकिंग इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। Realize that you are not going to be able to solve a set and others are also not going to be able to solve a set very quickly. If you can understand that within 3 to 5 minutes of starting a set, I think that is the best place to be, because then you can focus your energies on some other set which you think a lot of people will be able to solve, and वो you think you feel वो intuition कैसे develop होगा, that happens through practice. So that is basically how you use your mocks. But temperament, I think, is the most important thing, especially because you said that your score fell. I will strongly say that you look at improving that. वो बहुत important है. Whenever you are in a corner, how do you fight out of it? That is very important. If you manage to build that into your system, muscle memory में build करो, I think that is the best thing that can happen. ठीक है? Um, okay. 25 in that, should I apply for IMI Delhi and can I expect a call from IMT Ghaziabad? यार दोनों ही मेरे को थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट लग रहा है, बिकॉज जनरली बोथ ऑफ देम हैपन एट 90 percentile. My initial estimate said that your ZAT score should be around 25-ish marks for a 90 percentile. I think that was my initial estimate. But अभी मेरे को लग रहा है कि 25 might not be good enough. 25 might take you to an 88-ish kind of percentage is my understanding. I might be wrong. But दोनों ही मेरे को border line chances लग रहे हैं, because IMT and IMI, both of them generally close at around 90-ish, 91-ish percentile. उतना जाता है. Border line chances. If you applied, fingers crossed, let's hope for the best. आ जाता है तो you have to be like क्या बोलते हैं, यू हैव टू बिलीव दैट यू विल बी एबल टू कन्वर्ट, दैट्स इट। बट अगर नहीं भी आता तो इट्स ओके, मतलब इट्स फाइन, डोंट फील वेरी बैड अबाउट इट, इज ठीक है। Chandravilas is saying joining a tier 2 college this year since parents are forcing but want to give CAT that again for tier 1 college. Should I go for it or should I go for a foreign MBA after working for 2-3 years? Yeah, if Chandravilas, if foreign MBA is an option, then I will suggest that tier 2 must join karo, because a foreign MBA with you being staying there or you staying there should create a better mix for you if you're open to that idea. There are some people who are not open to the idea of staying abroad. उनके लिए मैं नहीं recommend करूंगा. उनको मैं बोलूंगा कि यार, one, try to take up a job, appear for the tests again, and then go for the college that you are getting instead of doing 1 year of MBA. Because होता है ना, you are neither here nor there. A lot of people will think that anyway मैं कैट देने वाला हूँ, तो मुझे यहाँ पे कॉलेज में बहुत ज्यादा फोकस करने की जरूरत नहीं है. तो वो कॉलेज में थोड़ा सा बैक सीट अपने आप आ जाता है. 2 मॉक में अच्छा परफॉर्मेंस आएगा ना, यू विल काइंड ऑफ ट्यून योर सेल्फ ऑफ व्हेन इट कम्स टू अटेंडिंग योर कॉलेज सेशंस. कॉलेज में खबर फैल जाती है दैट यू आर गोइंग टू टेक द कैट अगेन. अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल स्टार्ट एक्सक्लूडिंग यू फ्रॉम एक्टिविटीज. तुमको कमिटीज में से थोड़ा साइडलाइन कर देंगे, ग्रुप्स में से कंपटीशन में थोड़ा साइडलाइन कर देंगे. ऐसा हो सकता है. people's perception of you changes, and you also start feeling यार ठीक है, ये कॉलेज में क्या ही करना है मेरे को, एनीवे नेक्स्ट ईयर तो बेटर कॉलेज मिल ही जाएगा. यू गेट इनटू दैट जोन. समर इंटर्नशिप आ जाएगा, यू माइट नॉट रियली बैट योर बेस्ट इन योर बेस्ट मेंटल फ्रेम टू क्रैक दोस प्रोसेस. वो हो जाएगा. देन कैट विल हैपन. इफ यू डू वेल, एवरीथिंग गोस अकॉर्डिंग टू प्लान, ग्रेट. बट अगर नहीं होता, यू आर गोइंग टू बी इन बिग ट्रबल बिकॉज योर फर्स्ट ईयर हैज गॉन बाय एंड यू आर नॉट एग्जैक्टली द मोस्ट पॉपुलर पर्सन इन द बैच. तो ये सब चीजें हो सकती है. प्लस फिर वो स्टिग्मा है, कॉन्फिडेंस गिर जाता है. ऑल दोस थिंग्स आर बाय प्रोडक्ट्स. दैट्स व्हाई आई रेकमेंड नॉट गेटिंग इनटू द सिचुएशन एट ऑल. वर्क समवेयर and take the test again, go for an MBA, great, हो जाएगा. If let's say you go to a college and you want to do it, go for it, but make sure that you are focusing on the bird in hand. A bird in hand is worth two in the bush, जो बोलते हैं, मतलब it's very apt. At least summer internship आने तक be very focused on what you are doing at your B school. Don't overexert uh, for CAT. मेक श्योर दैट वहां पे तुम्हारा समर इंटर्नशिप इज लॉक. बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट. योर कैट्स आर लॉक्ड बिकॉज दे विल स्टे विथ यू अगर कुछ थिंग्स गो साउथ. अगर कैट डिफिकल्ट आता है, यू आर प्रिपेयर्ड वेरी वेल, बट कैट डिफिकल्ट आ गया या नॉमिनेशन तुम्हारे फेवर में नहीं गया, यू नेवर नो व्हाट माइट हैपन. यू फॉल सिक ऑन द डे ऑफ द कैट. आई एम नॉट सेइंग दिस टू जिंक्स स्टफ, बट अगर बी प्रिपेयर्ड फॉर दीज थिंग्स. आई वुड सजेस्ट दैट यू फोकस ऑन योर फर्स्ट ईयर. If abroad MBA is an option, I think that should be your priority. अगर है तो keep on taking CAT and see if tier 1 मिलता है तो then you can maybe prioritize that. But अगर tier 1 MBA नहीं मिलता, after 5 years experience आ जाएगा, you can go ahead for an abroad MBA. There are a lot of universities that rank better than the IIMs that are there. Better quality of life in general. People prefer those kind of things, but you should be comfortable being able to stay outside. You can't be spending in dollars and then earning in rupees. That is a wrong. Not wrong. Chalo. It depends on your financial situation. There are some people who do that as well. But if you come from a sort of modest background, if earning money means something to you, then spending in dollars and earning in rupees is not a good deal. At least in today's conversion wala scenario. ठीक है? Amit is asking a question out of the box, but I wanted to ask how do I win in life? Everything if okay, I think your question went away. Huh. Whether in exams, whether in girl like WGO rejected etc. यार ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. You just have to stitch together a few wins. वो मेरे लिए बहुत important होता है. I tell that to people. मतलब people who do feel like they are not winners, right, per se. I don't believe ऐसा कुछ winners और non winners ऐसा कुछ exist करता है. ऐसा कुछ भी मेरे लिए तो नहीं होता. You are winning in some spheres of life, you are not winning in some. It's okay, it happens. But if you genuinely want to believe that you can win, जैसे वो self help books जाते हैं, I will suggest that you stitch together a few wins for yourself. मतलब anything. Waking up early in the morning can be a win for you. Doing 15 minutes of workout or 30 minutes of workout every day can be a win for you. Learning a skill that you have not learnt yet can be a win for you. Eating the right kind of food can be a win for you. Making sure that you are not getting distracted while working can be a win for you. तो टर्निंग अप टू ऑफिस ऑन टाइम कैन बी अ विन फॉर यू. तो ये सारी चीजें जो हैं वो विन्स होती हैं. इफ यू स्टिच टुगेदर 3 or 4 or 5 विन्स, आई थिंक यू आर सॉर्टेड. एग्जाम के टाइम पे भी वही होता है. इफ यू डू द राइट थिंग्स और यू डू द things that are supposed to be done correctly, I think you will gain a lot of confidence from that. If your targets are realistic and you overachieve them, that will give you confidence. तो ऐसे धीरे धीरे confidence बढ़ता. I'll tell you one very small story. मैं बहुत ऐसे बोर नहीं करूंगा. But then I took a lot of time to gain confidence in terms of being able to crack tests. I was a decent test taker, no doubt about it. मतलब मैं काफी decent test taker था. मेरे को ऐसे कभी लगा नहीं कि यार academics is not something that I am meant for. ऐसा मेरे को कभी लगा नहीं. तो वैसा मेरा कुछ comeback नहीं था. But I was always the bridesmaid, never the bride kind of a candidate. कि मतलब हाँ ठीक ठाक कर लेगा, decent कॉलेज में चला जाएगा, but first आएगा कि नहीं ये वैसे तो. So I got 84% in my 10th standard, 88 in my 12th standard. My graduation was around 61% medicine था तो it was not bad, not great either. तो वैसे कुछ था. But I never believed that I could rank one in a test. It happened as a stroke of luck. तो थोड़ा सा luck था उसके अंदर. So I took CET for the first time in 2010. I took it with utmost कामनेस, मतलब एकदम zen मोड में जाके मैं बहुत आराम आराम से क्वेश्चंस मार्क कर रहा था. आई प्रिपेयर्ड वेरी वेल फॉर द टेस्ट. आई नेवर बिलीव्ड आई कुड बी रैंक वन, बट मेरे को पता था कि जेबीआईएमएस मिलने का चांस है मेरे पास. एंड जेबीआईएमएस, फॉर दोस ऑफ यू डोंट नो, जनरली यूज्ड टू हैपन फॉर द टॉप 40 कैंडिडेट्स टू सीईटी बैक देन. उस टाइम पे होता था. ठीक है. तो मैंने जाके सीईटी दे दिया. एंड इट सो हैपेंड दैट आई गॉट द हाईएस्ट स्कोर इन द हिस्ट्री ऑफ सीईटी. 179 कुछ. नाउ 179 निकालने के लिए मेरे को लग थोड़ा सा, इट हैड टू hold my hand a bit. But the confidence that I gained because of that one win translated into a CAT 100 percentile a couple of years later. And उसके बाद से मतलब I have not looked back since. Right? So even when the odds are stacked against me, I still believe कि यार कुछ हो सकता है. जैसे CAT this year, my DI was a disaster, but quant के अंदर confidence है. So because of that one test, I think my confidence is sustained for the next for the following 15 years. Right? तो उतना एक रिजल्ट की वजह से. So you need to stitch together few wins. I think you should be. बहुत ज्ञान हो गया. ठीक है. 97.0924 in snap, 227 in nmat, 7766 profile. यार snap पे मेरे को थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट लग रहा है. SIBM, SCM, HRD, other colleges you should get. And in with 227 in nmat, I think you should get a call from NMIMS. Conversion के chances completely depend on your competency test. अगर होता है तो interview पे depend करेगा what your chances are, because last year I don't think they did any discrimination on the basis of your written scores. And in general, a piece of advice for all of you: whatever is your written score, if they have called you for an interview, they are serious about it. तो वो लोग टाइम पास करने के लिए इंटरव्यू के लिए नहीं बुलाएंगे. दे आर डैम सीरियस अबाउट यू. दे आर इन्वेस्टिंग टाइम, मनी, रिसोर्सेस. उनके जो पैनलिस्ट है उनको एक जगह से दूसरे पे फ्लाई करके लाके बिठा रहे हैं कि भाई बैठो और इसका इंटरव्यू लो. दे आर स्पेंडिंग 15, 20, 30 मिनट्स ऑन योर कैंडिडेचर. यू बेटर वैल्यू दैट डिसीजन. राइट. बाकी सोशल मीडिया पे बहुत लोग मिल जाएंगे जो बोलेंगे 97% ऑफ माई बैच इज अबाउट 99 परसेंटाइल. बोलने वाले बहुत लोग मिल जाएंगे. But if you have got a low score and if they have called you for an interview, you better do justice to the decision that they have made. Don't insult their intelligence. उनको कॉल नहीं देते यार, कॉल ही नहीं देते. अगर तुमको कन्वर्जन का चांस जीरो होता तो यू हैव चांसेस ऑफ कन्वर्टिंग. तो मेक श्योर दैट यू वैल्यू दैट कॉल. प्लीज डोंट disregard the confidence that they have shown in your ability. उनको सेकेंड करने की जरूरत नहीं है. सोशल मीडिया चैटर छोड़ दो. पुट योर बेस्ट फुट फॉरवर्ड. गिव द इंटरव्यू ऑफ योर लाइफ. उसके बाद भी नहीं होता, टफ लक, इट्स ओके. बट दैट शुड नॉट डेटर यू फ्रॉम प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर इट. वो मेरा एक सजेशन रहेगा फॉर ऑल ऑफ. ठीक है. लर्निंग को पायलट इन टॉप में डू यू टेक करियर काउंसलिंग लाइक इन जनरल वाला? आई नीड थिंक अबाउट नेक्स्ट डिसीजन अबाउट करियर पाथ. लर्निंग को पायलट इट्स प्राइमरीली अबाउट, अगर मैनेजमेंट में करियर करना है तो दैट इज माई फोर्टे. तो वो मैं जनरली रिकमेंड करता हूँ. आई माइट advise you a bit in terms of finance careers as well. वो मैं कर सकता हूँ. Even if you want to do some हटके चीज तो भी I can advise on that. तो उतना वो नहीं है. My forte is MBA entrances, admissions, careers in management. वो मेरा forte है. If you suddenly ask me कि UPSC कैसे क्रैक करना है तो मेरे लिए थोड़ा difficult होगा to answer. If you tell me in the form, I will do research and I will deliver that as well. वो issue नहीं है. But हाँ, मेरा forte is management education in general. So yeah, if you book a slot, then we can discuss careers. No issue. ठीक है. I'm that spine TV guy. Tried my best. 97 percentile in CAT. Hovering around 94, 95 in XAT. Won't get anything this year. Okay, please don't spam the chat, guys. I will look at the chats jitna I can, so don't worry about it. Please don't spam the chat, nahi to I will not be able to see some of the questions. Okay. Is the GDP in SIMSLI or GB MMS program? Not really. MMS program में नहीं होगा. But if they are inviting you for the MSc Finance, MHRD program, SIMSLI का MSc Finance, तो there will be a process. एक छोटा interview हो सकता है. Sorry, I missed your question, but yeah, please put it as a comment in case you are not there. So I'll talk about it in there. ठीक है? Is IIM Ahmedabad FABM worth it if I am a food tech graduate? Um, ऋषि डेफिनेटली ऐसा है मतलब इट्स अ गुड प्रोग्राम. ऐसा नहीं है कि बहुत ही खराब प्रोग्राम नहीं है. इफ इट इज रेलेवेंट टू योर कैंडिडेचर देन इट्स वन ऑफ द बेस्ट प्रोग्राम्स दैट यू कैन बी अ पार्ट ऑफ. बट इफ यू आर नॉट वेरी श्योर यू आर जॉइनिंग आई एम प्योरली बिकॉज ऑफ द ब्रांड नेम, तो देन आई विल से मतलब थोड़ा सा स्टे अवे फ्रॉम द प्रोग्राम. डू समथिंग दैट यू जेन्युइनली लाइक. डोंट डू इट बिकॉज इट इज आई एम. ठीक है. तो प्लेसमेंट्स वगैरह काफी डिसेंट होते हैं. दे आर नॉट, आई विल नॉट से दे आर पीजीपी लेवल प्लेसमेंट्स, बट या एमबीए लेवल प्लेसमेंट्स, बट दे आर डिसेंट प्लेसमेंट्स होते हैं. एंड यू विल गेट a good head start to your career in terms of this thing, a graduate who is linked to uh, food and agriculture and business, right? ये सब चीजें सब एक जगह पे आ जाएंगी. So I think it's a fine program. If you want to pursue a career, whatever opportunities you are getting right now, उससे better opportunities मिलेंगी is what I can say. But सिर्फ I'm not देख के मत जाओ. ठीक है. Okay, sorry about that. 10.5 in DM, 60 percentile in CAT. 4 years का नहीं, but learned music production. I have worked with DJs and involved in music projects. Have no certificate. Am I cooked? Expecting NMAS call. नहीं यार क्रिश, आई थिंक मतलब गैप है तो फिर यू कैन से ना कि गैप नहीं बोलना चाहिए उसको. यू डिड नॉट हैव फॉर्मल वर्क एक्सपीरियंस. देयर आर टू डिफरेंट थिंग्स. गैप का मतलब मैंने कुछ भी नहीं किया, सिर्फ एंट्रेंस टेस्ट के प्रिपेयर किया. एंड फॉर्मल वर्क एक्स ना होना इज अगेन नॉट अ प्रॉब्लम. फॉर्म में नहीं आएगा बट इंटरव्यू में यू कैन टॉक अबाउट इट. यू कैन गेट टेस्टिमोनियल्स एंड यू कैन शो पिक्चर्स एंड योर वर्क. I think that is going to be very interesting. So if I were you, I would completely focus on my music का whatever career I have ventured into, and मैं उसको capitalize कर. So I don't think it's a bad thing at all, honestly. ठीक है. So वो है 230 second window. Want to do something in finance? Please suggest colleges. Uh, F inspector 230 in the second window. यार most colleges will not really look at it. From what I remember, maybe Somaya is possible. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but Somaya should be possible. NMAS से सारे colleges शायद चले जाते हैं. And then you're looking at, sorry, colleges that are like decently big will will kind of help you look at a 17 18 LPA kind of an average, which are the likes of Altera for that matter. So वहाँ पे भी I think you can go for them. Again, not sure if Altera accepts. That is I think worth it. But it's a different program. It's a 15-month program. It's not your traditional 2-year MBA program. बट वैसा कुछ देख सकते हो अगर देखना ही है तो. ठीक है. ग्रेट लेक्स का योर शॉर्टलिस्ट इज आउट बट आई डिडंट रिसीव एनी मेल. अंकित कभी कभी वो बैचेस में भेजते हैं, सो आई डोंट नो इफ ऑल द बैचेस हैव बीन डिलीवर्ड और नॉट. इट्स बेस्ट फॉर यू टू गेट इन टच विद देयर एडमिशंस ऑफिस एंड सी व्हाट दे हैव टू से अबाउट इट. अगर है रिजेक्ट है तो रिजेक्ट है, अगर है तो है. बट इन केस देयर इज समथिंग दैट इज मिसिंग फ्रॉम देयर एंड, आई थिंक दे विल बी एबल टू वर्क ऑन इट एंड ऑफर गिव यू एन कॉल इन केस कुछ मिसमैच हुआ या कहीं पे स्पैम में या कहीं पे चला गया तो. सो दैट इज समथिंग आई लुक एट. 95.77 जनरल नॉन इंजीनियर मेल. 987 ऑल सेक्शनल 85. ये ऑल वॉटर पीआई कॉल्स टू एक्सेप्ट एक्सपेक्ट, सॉरी पीयूष. आई थिंक एमबीए तो आ जाना चाहिए मेरे हिसाब से. आईआईटी के अंदर आई थिंक आईआईटी मद्रास, आईआईटी कानपुर माइट हैपन, आईआईटी खड़गपुर माइट हैपन. आईएमटीआई में अगर अप्लाई किया तो डेफिनेटली आना चाहिए. सम ऑफ द सेकंड थर्ड जनरेशन आई एम शुड आल्सो गिव यू कॉल्स. सो कुछ कॉल्स होंगे किटी में. आई डोंट थिंक कॉल्स शुड बी एन इशू व्हाटसएवर. बट मेरे हिसाब से एमडीआई शुड बी योर बेस्ट कॉल इज माय अंडरस्टैंडिंग. ठीक है. 94.47 वर्क एक्स वन. एनी चांसेस टू कन्वर्ट एनी आईएम? प्रथम यार एनी आईएम तो इज अ डिफरेंट स्टोरी. ऑफ कोर्स देयर इज अ चांस टू कन्वर्ट समथिंग लाइक एन आईएम गुवाहाटी और एन आईएम संबलपुर, मे बी एन आईएम वाइजैक फॉर दैट मैटर. तो ये सब मतलब पॉसिबिलिटीज हो सकती है. एनी आईएम यस, बट इफ यू आर लुकिंग एट दी ओल्डर और द सेकेंड जनरेशन आईएम तो मेरे लिए थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट होगा. सो ABCLIKSRRRTUK, ये मेरे को थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट लग रहा है. आउटसाइड ऑफ दैट आई थिंक देयर आर पॉसिबिलिटीज. 84.65 SC male non-engineer 766. Will I be able to convert? I am Nagpur. I think you should be able to. Matlab, not because of your academic performance or something. You have chances of converting him. So go ahead and give it your best shot. and maybe Naruto, I think you should be able to convert. Matlab, if you have a decent interview, then I will be very surprised if you don't convert. I am NMMS Pharma MBA cutoff Pharma graduate Omkar, I don't think there is any difference as such. Last year तो मतलब blanket 209 नहीं कर दिया था उन्होंने सबके लिए. मेरे हिसाब से इस बार 215 टाइप्स कुछ होगा ऐसा मेरे को लग रहा है. Let's see how that goes. But 215 220 के आसपास आएगा is my understanding. I am Ranchi versus SIBM Pune. What to choose? I am the boss to convert. Then we will discuss this. ठीक है? You can't reject something that you don't possess. That has always been my motto in life. तो दोनों मतलब you can go for it. I will slightly be inclined towards I am Ranchi, not because SIBM is a bad college, but मेरे लिए I am का brand is slightly higher than any this thing. But SIBM Pune, sorry, has been delivering good placements consistently. My only take on this is SIBM has possibly hit its peak. Matlab, I can't say SIBM being in contention against say an FMS, an XLRI, an IM Indore, IM Koi Code, even an MDI, an IFT for that matter. तो मतलब SIBM ने अपना एक peak hit कर लिया ऐसा मेरे को लगता है. I don't see SIBM getting into that 96 percentile वाला aspirational वाला इसमें जाएगा ऐसा मेरे को नहीं लग रहा honestly. Whereas IM Ranchi has still some way to go. So pure brand wise, IM brand versus higher potential, lower averages. I might be slightly tilted towards IM Ranchi. चलो short term के अंदर SIBM Pune, long term के अंदर IM Ranchi. That will be my answer. But I would have personally looked at IM Ranchi a lot more seriously because of course it's an IM. That's it. और कुछ नहीं. Bragging rights. XIME versus JIMS for backup. I think XIME is a slightly better brand. दोनों ही मतलब बहुत कुछ वो नहीं है. बहुत ऐसे क्या बोलते हैं हेड टर्नर वाले ऐसे ब्रांड्स नहीं है. But I think XIME is a slightly better brand, is my understanding. बाकी तो मतलब it won't really make a big difference. Honestly. ठीक है? Should XIM rural management be considered? Pranjal again, yeah, if you are interested, then go for it. But it's again one of the better rural management colleges out there. But if you are interested in rural management, you might possibly have also been looking at IRMA, which would have happened, I think, at a slightly lower percentile as well. But rural management is not for everyone. मतलब you have to look at the curriculum. In fact, IRMA का curriculum देख लो. IRMA का जो structure है वो देख लो. You might have to think your decision because I know people जो IRMA चले गए थे and after 2 or 3 weeks they realized that program is not meant for them. They came back again appeared for the tests. तो ये भी मेरे को cases पता है. But rural management is not meant for everyone. It is meant for people who have a passion for rural management. मैं ये नहीं बोल रहा हूँ कि जिंदगी भर गांव में रहना पड़ेगा ऐसा नहीं है. But you really need to know the realities. The programs are also generally थोड़ा raw, more raw. उतना ऐसे कशी प्रोग्राम नहीं होगा कि यार ठीक है बैठे मस्त प्रोजेक्टर पे कोर्स देखा एक बहुत ही अच्छा इंटर्नशिप के ऑफिस में बैठ के और वापस आ गया ऐसा नहीं होगा. इट इज गोइंग टू बी स्लाइटली मोर इंटेंस. आई एम नॉट सेइंग क्रेजी इंटेंस, स्लाइटली मोर इंटेंस कंपेयर टू अ रूटीन एमबीए. तो हाँ, बट इफ यू आर इंटरेस्टेड द प्रोस्पेक्ट्स आर वेरी वेरी गुड in terms of rural management. ठीक है. So I'll take a few more questions, then I'll close it. I spent 2 years preparing seriously for CAT and ended up with 2 gap years and an 88 percentile. I tried hard, but now I feel I lost. I feel lost about what to do next. So Simi, see, the idea is that 88 percentile is not a bad score, but मतलब वो ये ना जैसे वो आइंस्टाइन का एक कोट है. I don't know if Einstein has said it, but the quote goes like this, right? Insanity is doing the same thing again and again and expecting different outcomes. Or was it Edison? I don't know. Someone had mentioned said it. But the idea is that that is insanity, right? Definition of insanity according to some great scientist, either of them, right? So the idea is that अगर बहुत prepare किया था, ठीक से prepare किया था, and in spite of that you are looking at an 88 percentile kind of a thing, then maybe it's time for you to accept कि भाई ठीक है, this is what I am looking at through the CAT. Either I get a work ex of 5 years, go for an executive MBA, get a better brand, one, or two, I am looking at a foreign MBA after getting 2+ years of work ex. तो वो दो options मेरे लिए open हो जाते हैं. Or you settle for a TAPME, जो भी मतलब all those colleges that we right, TAPME, SDA, MICA, NIRMA, Great Lakes, GIM, something I missed. I don't know if I missed something, but ये सब colleges हैं. Right? So ये सब colleges के अंदर I am thinking about getting into MICA तो even Ultra for the matter, ये सब चीज which are promising you around 18ish lakhs per annum का average. Not promising but डिक्लेयरिंग 18+ lakhs per annum का एवरेज सैलरी. तो ये सब चीजें मैं देख रहा हूँ यहाँ पे. इफ यू आर ओके विद इट देन गो फॉर इट. वैसा है. बट ऐसा कुछ नहीं है कि यार मतलब जो हो गया फॉरगेट अबाउट इट. इफ यू आर टेकिंग अ टेस्ट अगेन, मेक श्योर दैट यू आर नॉट रिपीटिंग द सेम मिस्टेक. यू आर फिलिंग योर schedule with something. फुल टाइम वर्क एक्स मिलना अगर डिफिकल्ट है, डू अ प्रोजेक्ट, मतलब डू सम फ्रीलांसिंग, डू एन इंटर्नशिप. इट्स ओके टू डू एन इंटर्नशिप, इट्स फाइन. ऑल्दो मतलब बहुत मलाइन करते हैं बिकॉज काम करा लेते हैं फुल टाइम का और पैसा नहीं देते, और फुल टाइम वर्क एक्स का स्टेटस नहीं मिलता, दर्जा नहीं मिलता, वो ठीक है लोग बोलते हैं. बट यू हैव टू बी वेरी सेल्फिश इन दिस रिगार्ड, राइट? You have to see what adds value to your CV. That's very important. Now you can't be negotiating money. Sadly, that is the reality that exists. But make sure that you're filling your CV with something. That is very important if you plan to take another attempt. But 88% I think is a decent score. मतलब इतना खराब भी नहीं है जितना I think you are thinking. I assume you are thinking, right? So it's not very bad. It's not great, I understand, but it's not very bad either. If there were major gaps in your preparation last year, I think you still have a shot at decent colleges. So think about it. ठीक है? CK 977. CK, you are moving your chat by spamming. So I can't see your chat because you are spamming. NIT Surat 7th month of work X top tier B school chances 977 पे या top tier में I think black eye is mostly out because of engineering background in 977. तो black eye मेरे को थोड़ा out लग रहा है. I am Mumbai might actually be your best call. FMS might be your best call. XLRI might be your best calls. So ये तीन तो मतलब I will be slightly bullish on them. Unless you end up getting a 99.9 or a 100 percentile at the CAT, so then you might have a shot at some of the black eyes as well. तो उतना मैं देख रहा हूँ. But otherwise, I think I am Mumbai, FMS, XLRI will be your best calls. That is my understanding. ठीक है. 38.2 marks in that 2026. मृदुल, I think you should get a call here. You should get a call. And काफी comfortable call होना चाहिए मेरे हिसाब से तो. So I think it's going to be an easy 99.3 plus 99.4 plus kind of a score is my estimate, right? So easy 99.34 3 or 4 मेरे को लग रहा है. Let's see. ठीक है. चलो couple more questions then I'll close it. What is the cost of the GDPI course? You can just check it out. मतलब the link is there. एक बार offering पूरा देख लेना. It's if I'm not wrong, it's 2000 rupees. I generally uh, uh, don't look at the pricing. I only look at the deliverables, right? तो वो है, तो एक बार check कर लेना. Look at the program that is there. The workshop weekend is for all of you. वो देख सकते हो. And the CET crash course is there. That is for 4,500 rupees. So that is what it looks like. ठीक है. How is IBS? Lata, it depends on which IBS you're looking at one. And typically the perception has been that it is kind of a mass institute. There will be huge batch sizes that will be there. So placement की statistics काफी नीचे दिखेंगे. मतलब IBS मुंबई में कुछ इतना याद है. Their average will be around 7 lakhs per annum. 7 to 8 lakhs per annum. 7 ही होगा from what I remember vaguely. That is what the averages look like. So it's not exactly meant for someone who is looking at who is already getting a 3-4 lakh ka salary. I will not suggest IBS for them. But people are finding it very difficult to get a job. कुछ कॉल्स कन्वर्ट नहीं हो रहे हैं, कुछ कॉल्स आ नहीं रहे हैं. इफ यू आर गेटिंग आईबीएस मुंबई, आईबीएस हैदराबाद काइंड ऑफ थिंग, यू कैन गो फॉर इट. उसके नीचे वाले आईबीएस में जनरली आई विल नॉट रिकमेंड. बट इफ यू आर गेटिंग बॉम्बे और मुंबई और हैदराबाद, यू कैन थिंक अबाउट इट. ठीक है. 998 93.15 एनसीओबीसी नो वर्क एक्स बीबीए क्राइस्ट चांस ऑफ आई एम उदयपुर. Get notes are very good chances. I would say very good chances given your profile. Nail that interview. Don't leave anything to chance. But I think you have decent chances. ठीक है. 237 in NMAT. Guidance for NMIMS interview. Nishad, matlab, guidance for NMIMS interview is very similar to guidance for any other interview. So whatever I mentioned at the beginning, right? Your master CV, stories का ये what did I call them? I forgot what I called them. But जो भी है stories का तुम्हारा पास जो एक stash होगा, right? So that is what I'm looking at. Some 10 to 15 stories and current affairs वाला. So ये तीन levels अगर कर लोगे, I think you should be. ठीक है. So let's see. Datta Birani, but Bangalore, IBS, Bangalore, I don't know, Hyderabad and Mumbai are the better ones. Bangalore, I have not heard great things. Bangalore is a good city, I know, but मैंने सुना नहीं. Honestly, confession ये है कि I have not heard a lot of things about IBS Bangalore, which essentially means that they have not said a lot of things about IBS Bangalore, or people are not saying a lot of things about IBS Bangalore, which in turn will hint towards the fact that it is not as good as Mumbai or Hyderabad. यार कर लो. I will suggest that you look at Mumbai as an option है और हैदराबाद as an option. मतलब do look at these options. Demand कि मेरे को चाहिए करके. They have their own test as well. They will look at any test that you would have taken. So desperation meter के अंदर I think IBS will be slightly more desperate to fill their batch than you are to join IBS. So relationship में you have the upper hand. You can slightly arm twist unless you have had a horrible season, in which case they will have the upper hand. But मेरे हिसाब से तो I think you should ask for Mumbai or Hyderabad is my suggestion. ठीक है. Also, I am Vizag and Sambalpur 85.11, 878 chances of conversion. Yeah, if they have called you, the chance of conversion are pretty decent. But 85 पे generally, if you are a general category candidate, it will be difficult to convert, is my understanding. तो वो है. ठीक है. फिलोसॉफी ऑनर्स के अराउंड क्या क्वेश्चन पूछेंगे SIBM IMT XIMB में. UBC philosophy, you are a graduate of philosophy, but the panelists will not be graduates of philosophy. So unless they get into epistemology and metaphysics and ये सब में चले आते हैं, या फिर they start talking about philosophy को थोड़ा साइकोलॉजी की तरफ घुमा के लेके जाते हैं, and then they start talking about let's say behavioral economics and steady state economics and मतलब they get into economics basically psychology के through वहां पे अगर चले जाते हैं then it might be an issue. But philosophy में क्या ही पूछेंगे यार, they will talk about philosophers in general. So मतलब then you are looking at all your Aristotles and Socrates and Platos of the world, but इतना फिलोसॉफी लोगों को नहीं पता. दे विल नॉट ग्रिल यू ऑन दैट. दे माइट बी मोर इंटरेस्टेड इन आस्किंग यू कि भाई तुम फिलोसॉफी एक तो कर क्यों रहे थे, वन, एंड सेकंड थिंग फिलोसॉफी का एमबीए क्यों करने वाले. दैट आई थिंक इज गोइंग टू बी अ बिग पार्ट ऑफ योर इंटरव्यू. एंड हाउ what all learnings from philosophy can you implement into management. So that is what we are looking at. उतना अगर कर लोगे आई थिंक यू शुड बी. बट हाँ मतलब टॉप ऑफ माई माइंड आई कैन थिंक ऑफ ऑल दिस थिंग्स. इफ आई डिग डीपर एंड आई डू सम रिसर्च तो मेरे को फिलोसॉफी पे और भी क्वेश्चंस याद आ जाएंगे. बट ऊपर ऊपर से मेरे को फिलोसॉफी साइकोलॉजी में दे विल थोड़ा सा प्ले अराउंड दोस टू कॉन्सेप्ट्स, ऑल्दो ऑफ कोर्स दे आर नॉट लिंक्ड. बट देन इफ समवन इज अ यंगियन साइकोलॉजी में जाते हैं, या फिर यू आर लुकिंग एट फ्रॉइड, तो वो सब मतलब देन यू आर गेटिंग इनटू कोर साइकोलॉजी. दैट इज व्हाट वी लुक. बट ठीक है मतलब विच एवर वे. ठीक है. चलो. ऑलराइट. हाउ इज सॉइल एंड एसडीए बोकन एज अ सॉफ्ट लीटिंग. Matlab, yeah, decent colleges again, as I said, right? If you have the profile for these colleges, if you are looking at an option at around 85 percentile, you can look at both of them. SDA because of the global exposure that is there, soil because of the philosophy that they have. दोनों के मतलब अपने pros हैं, अपने cons हैं. But if you are looking at a global career kind of a thing, a globally recognized brand name, then SDA will trump soil is the understanding. And yeah, SDA has been making more noise than soil, right? In general. So, मतलब brand wise, recognition wise, I think SDA will kind of trump soil in general. ठीक है. Okay. I'll take one final thing, Chandra Vilas. What I meant was after doing a tier 2 MBA, then working for 2 to 3 years, should I go for a foreign MBA, second MBA? Yeah, second MBA makes a lot of sense if you have more than 10 to 15 years of work experience. So a second MBA is done by people typically when they are facing a roadblock in terms of becoming the CEO of an organization या CEO of a particular vertical. तो वहां पे a second MBA will work purely because of optics. So अगर let's say for example there is an organization that is there, HUL है let's say for example, उनको अपने whatever मतलब they want a CEO for their one of their categories let's say. तो उनको एक डिटर्जेंट कैटेगरी का एक सीईओ बनाना है. जस्ट गिविंग अ रैंडम एग्जांपल, ऐसा कुछ है नहीं बट आई एम जस्ट टेलिंग यू कि उसका एक सीईओ बनाना है उनको, या पर्सनल केयर का एक सीईओ बनाना है. एंड द पर्सन हु इज इन कंटेंशन इज हैज डन देयर एमबीए फ्रॉम अ टियर 2 कॉलेज लेट्स से. They might encourage that person to go to an Ivy League college, do a program which gives them recognition as an alumnus, and then become a CEO. वैसे ये बहुत मैं एकदम ही रेयर केस की बात कर रहा हूँ, बट ऐसा कुछ हो सकता है. या फिर you realize कि यार your skills, your knowledge is not relevant in today's context. You deserve a better brand on your CV which will open doors to better roles. Then you can go for a second MBA. जनरली योर नॉलेज विल नॉट गो ऑब्सोलीट इन 2-3 साल. 2-3 साल में नहीं ऑब्सोलीट होगा. तो इंस्टेड ऑफ दैट व्हाट आई विल सजेस्ट इज यार 2 साल जॉब कर लो और 2-3 साल जॉब कर लो, 5 साल का एक्सपीरियंस देके फॉरेन यूनिवर्सिटी से पहले एमबीए कर लो ना. व्हाई गो फॉर अ सेकंड एमबीए फ्रॉम अ फॉरेन यूनिवर्सिटी इन क्विक सक्सेशन. So generally, I've not seen people do a second MBA right after their first MBA. But 10-15 years का अगर प्लान है, so I can do a second MBA at this point in time. By the way, अगर मेरे को करना है, because my MBA was done in 2013, मैंने 12-13 साल का प्रायश्चित कर लिया. अभी मेरे को नए पाप करनी है, लेट्स से, तो फिर मैं एक एमबीए कर सकता हूँ. Because now is basically the time when people start looking at top management roles. So अगर मेरे को सीईओ का रोल चाहिए at this point in time, I think an MBA from a very good globally recognized brand might open a few doors for me. That is what I meant. So by the time I'm 45 or something, I might benefit more from that second MBA. But if I'm doing a second MBA when I'm 27, 28 years old, तो यार नहीं, मतलब बात नहीं बनती. It's mostly going to add very little value to you in terms of knowledge, skills, मनी. तीनों कॉन्टेक्स्ट में आई थिंक बहुत ज्यादा इंप्रूवमेंट तो नहीं है मेरे को लगा. ठीक है, चलो. So on that note, I'll close the session, guys. In case I have missed some questions, and I know I have missed a lot of questions. So please put it as a chat. I was not expecting itna overwhelming participation, but thank you for turning up. And in case you are looking at a GDPI program, do check out the GDPI online course. And in terms of CET as well, crash course भी है, वो start हो रहा है. I did the intro session yesterday. The full fledged sessions are going to start from next week, 19th से start हो रहा है. So do make sure that you sign up for the CET course before that. That's a big offering that we have. 20 live sessions, one strategy session. There are plenty of area tests that are there. There are 40 sectional tests. There are 30 full length tests. ये सारी चीजें as a part of the, and 150 concept videos. Everything is a part of the program. So do have a look at it. And GDP online course के अंदर भी there will be quite a few documents that will be there. In terms of the 30 current affairs things, वो एक document होगा. Personal questions के ऊपर there will be a document that will be there. Interview prep के लिए functions wise there will be a document, and there will be a document on specialization or your graduation based questions. तो ये सब चीजें होंगी. And there will be live sessions that we are going to have. Some six live sessions is what we are going to have, including the budget session. तो ये सारी चीजें होंगी. So make sure that you are signing up for these things if you are interested. So do check out the programs. Let me know कुछ अगर उसमें doubts है, queries हैं, तो I'll be more than happy to clear your queries regarding that. And बाकी भी कुछ भी whatever I missed, apologies for missing out on the chats. But you know, right, मतलब it's very difficult to filter spam as a human. So sometimes I wish I were a bot, but ठीक है, it doesn't matter. But then the idea is that कुछ भी अगर है तो let me know in the comment section. I'll try to reply to as many questions as is possible by being as succinct as is possible. ठीक है, I'll see you again in the next video. So till then, take care everyone, and I might do another of these sessions because there has been such a nice response. So I'll do one more session maybe on similar lines very soon. So usme we can discuss the questions that I have missed as well. ठीक है, चलो. So on that note, I'll close the session. Have a great day ahead of you, night ahead of you, evening ahead of you, and I'll see you again in another session very very soon. Till then, take care everyone. Keep preparing. Don't worry about the outcomes. जब जो होना है हो जाएगा. And don't get disappointed that it's too small of a instance, a speck of dust in your life to be bothered about these things. So don't worry about it. Nice things will happen to you. Just make sure that your goals are realistic. You are working towards them, and yeah, let the outcome happen the way it is destined to be. Right. तो ये सब चीजें हैं. So I'll see you again in the next video. Till then, take care everyone, and yeah, I'll close the session now. All right. So yeah, bye everyone.